Can I get a green card even if my marriage falls apart before the interview? Hi, I'm Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States at our offices in St. Louis, Missouri, San Diego, California, and Washington, D.C. I've always thought that you could get a marriage-based green card case approved even if the marriage ended before the green card interview, but I've never actually pulled it off, and our firm has never actually pulled it off. I remember once I was at a green card interview in Chicago, and the officer was going over all the questions with the U.S. citizen spouse, and he said, "Do you still want to sponsor this guy?" pointing to the foreign national spouse beneficiary. And the lady said, "Of course, otherwise I wouldn't be here." And the officer, he was one of these guys that sort of talked to himself. He sort of laughed and said, "Well, you know, I just had a case in here last week where the person said, no, I don't want to sponsor him anymore. And I did some research and I talked to my supervisor, and I figured out that I could approve the case because the marriage was valid and for non-immigration purposes at the time the marriage was formed." And we've always talked about that here in the office. I've told that story before. I might have even shot a video before about that story. But we had a real life case example happen here recently, and it was a sad case. It was a case where the couple had clearly been in love for many years. The U.S. citizen had gone overseas to Europe to live with the eventual beneficiary for years. They'd had a long history together, but in the time of COVID, they hit a real rough patch, and their green card case was pending. They were married. The foreign national was here in the United States, and he was trying to get a green card. And my crackerjack colleague, Andrew Bloomberg, did a consult with this fellow and with his soon-to-be ex-wife, and they talked about it. And Andrew said to me, "Jim, I think we can take this case and I think we can approve it." And I remembered this situation I had in Chicago, and I also knew Andrew had researched it. And it is possible to get your green card case approved even if the marriage goes bad. But this case had a really interesting wrinkle to it, because in this situation, the U.S. citizen was willing to come to the interview. And we went to the interview. I actually handled the interview because Andrew was out of town. And it was the strangest thing. As soon as the interview started, the couple started crying. I had stood up and said, "Officer, this is a little bit of an unusual situation in that the marriage here is ending, but this case is still approvable." And then Andrew had prepared a legal memorandum outlining exactly why the case could still be approved even though they were separated and headed for a divorce. And we got lucky. The officer that we had assigned to the case is a lawyer, and I think she's pretty smart, and I like her a lot. And I like her a lot now more because she eventually proved the case. But the interview itself was very surreal. I took a lot of notes, and the couple cried throughout the entire interview, and they were both really sad. And you could tell that they cared about each other, and you could tell that they were sad that their marriage was sort of ending. The beneficiary had moved in with his brothers to separate from the U.S. citizen, and she was sad and he was sad. The officer asked another officer by text to bring in a box of Kleenex, and it was sad all around. But it was thorough, and the interview was about an hour and a half. And just last week, the officer approved the case. So our client is getting his green card even though his marriage is pretty much over. So it is possible. I don't think it would have happened if the U.S. citizen hadn't come to the interview, or it certainly wouldn't have happened as quickly. My team, Andrew and team members, they did a great job getting the case prepared. Alex did a really nice job of getting all the evidence together, and the couple had a lot of evidence. But I told the U.S. citizen after the interview, I looked her in the eye and I said, "That was something very brave that you just did, and you're going to help your soon-to-be ex-husband to get his green card." Now, it's going to be tricky when we get to the I-751 stage because they haven't been married 2 years, but at the end of the day, we did good work, and the client did good work, and most importantly, the U.S. citizen stood up for her husband, and that made all the difference. So if you have a situation like this, I doubt you do, but if you do, we might be able to help depending on what the U.S. citizen is willing to do and how much they're willing to participate. You can give us a call at 314-961-8200. You can email us at info@hackinglawpractice.com. Be sure to join us on our Facebook group, which is called Immigrant Home. If you like this video, we ask that you please share it out on social and that you subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you get updates whenever we make videos just like this one. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.